Rumors are coming out that the Chicago Bulls could be looking to cut or trade Lonzo Ball. And I've had maybe 15 people ask me, Marshall, do you think the Knicks should go after him? And they will have all told me, remember, Leon Rose wanted to sign him in the summer of 2021. Let's break it down. Today's show is Darnell Mayberry of The Athletic says a trade or buyout could be likely. The full quote from Mayberry, The Athletic, and Chicago's insider. Quote, Giddey's acquisition also further clouds the Bulls' plan for recovering point guard Lonzo Ball, who hasn't played since January 2022, but is expected to make a comeback next season. It's impossible to not view Giddey as insurance in case Ball doesn't return. By bringing in Giddey, the Bulls also might have signaled they're ready to move on from Ball. A trade or buyout could be likely. There are so many layers to this Lonzo Ball conversation. And let's just start with the easy one. He has not played in a basketball game since 2022. That's January 2022. It's been 2+ years. But he says he's going to be ready for game one. This is what he said. Game 1 of 82. Lonzo, are you going to play? He says, yes, I firmly believe that. That's the plan that I'm on, and I haven't had any setbacks. So I expect to play the first game of the season. That's awesome news. But man, oh man, it has been a long, long road on this injury-riddled path that Ball has been traveling. Had a hurt shoulder in 2017, a meniscus tear in 2018, sprained his ankle and his abductor in 2019. He had knee tendinopathy in 2021. That's what Hartenstein had in his Achilles. He had a hip flexor strain in 2021, a thumb strain in 2021, health and safety protocols in 2021. He tore his meniscus again in 2022, and he has not played a minute of NBA basketball since January 2022. It's just been so disappointing. Like coming out of UCLA, we all thought Lonzo would be that guy, and unfortunately throughout his career, it just hasn't been able to be lived up to because of the injuries. Like, it's unfortunate. I actually feel bad for the person. You never want to see someone's dream be taken from them for things that they cannot control. But, man, he's a good player. He is, and he was really good in that 2021-2022 season when the Bulls were the number one team in the Eastern Conference before he got hurt. He turned into one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. We know he's one of the best maestros in this game, and he added a three-point shot that became extremely consistent. Shot both 42.3% from the deck as well as from downtown, while giving you 5 boards, 5 assists, and 13 points per game. But he only played 35 games. That's always going to be the story of his career. When will he be available? Lonzo Ball said this on his knee injury, quote, it's improving. That's all I can ask for. Still not where I want to be. Out of 100, I'd say I'm about 70%. Good enough to play, but it could still get better. And I'll just say it again, man. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the person. I feel like he has been robbed. I mean, he's had some pretty intense surgeries. And I'm not sure if he'll ever get back to being that player he once was. It would be wild if he does. I'm rooting for him. I absolutely am. But when it comes to the Knicks, doesn't make all that much sense. To be honest with you, I do not think so. We've already got an injury-prone player at OG Anunoby we're about to give money. We've already got an injury-prone player now 2 years in a row in Julius Randle. I would have to say pass on Lonzo Ball. Look, if injuries were off, yeah, I'd bring him here. We just don't play in a 2K world, though. Do you want Lonzo Ball on the Knicks? A lot of people have hit me up saying, Marsh, we need him. Defense, passing, another point guard, three-point shot making. Yeah, if he's healthy. If. I don't like using that word, if healthy, that phrase. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let's finish today's video just answering questions from subscribers. If you want to be featured on the next show, make sure you are subscribed. Brian Fitzgerald says, we should draft Holmes. 6'8", 240, bro. We can develop. We have great coaches. I'm a fan of Day'Ron Holmes. I think he's going to be a good player in this league. Versatile big, athletic. He can protect the rim, get out and run in transition. If he's there at 24, 25, totally cool with the Knicks drafting him. I think he kind of fits the player that they want, spent multiple years in college, be able to come in and contribute right away. He gives you some size, some toughness, some intensity. Yeah, I'd be totally cool with Day'Ron Holmes being a New York Knick. Seal Pasito says, if iHeart is willing to stay for what we can give, why not run it back with Mitch and him? I think there's multiple levels to this, Seal Pasito, and thank you for the super chat. One, I don't think the New York Knicks want to commit $60 million over the next 2 years to the center position. I think they're worried about Mitchell Robinson's durability, and I think that they know Robinson in 2 years is most likely not going to be re-signed by the New York Knicks, so they're going to try to take that piece and trade it and add a piece that can help now and in the future. Overall, yeah, I would love to have both Mitch and Isaiah Hartenstein back. I just don't necessarily see it happening, as there are reports coming out that Mitchell Robinson is being shopped by the New York Knicks. Arena Long coming in says, who would you like to replace OG if he does not come back? I haven't thought about it. It's not happening. I do not want to live in a world where I have to think about this question. I mean, give the full MLE to Kelly Oubre. Najee Marshall. That's who I want to replace OG if he's not back, which will not happen because I'm speaking it into existence. Love me some Najee Marshall. He has a really cool last name, too. Marco Danielle, would you trade Deuce and Mitch plus first for Paul George? Yes. Then sign Kevon Looney? Yes. If iHeart plays 30 minutes, yeah. If you could sign Looney and all you have to give up is Deuce and Mitch and a plus first for Paul George, yes, you do that. Yes. Yes, you do that. Shitmaster Kyle, Marsh, if Castle falls to our pick, would you draft Castle or Zach Edey? Castle. Stephon Castle is one of my favorite players in this draft class. I would trade up pretty high to go get him. I'd trade up pretty high to go get him. I think that he is the perfect type of player for this team. He can play the 1, he can play the 2, he can play the 3. He can handle, he can score, he can defend. He's an athlete. He can get out and run in transition. He can excel on the defensive end. He's already athletic enough and I would say talented enough on the defensive end to be a guy that you could throw on top scorers in this league. And I think under the tutelage of OG as well as Tom Thibodeau, he could grow into one of the best defenders in this league. I think Stephon Castle, out of all the players in this class, has one of the better chances to be a year in and year out all-star. Jet Life, for life. What's up, gang? How likely, in your opinion, is it that we trade for Paul George? I'll put it like this. If the New York Knicks trade for a star, I think he's one of the guys that are most likely. Like, if you do trade for a star, I think he's one of the most likely. He's CAA. He does stuff that you need. Defend, score, shoot, create, defend. Like, on court, he is a perfect fit. Like, remove all the other factors out there off the table, right? When you strictly talk hoop, when you're strictly talking rock, and you talk about what do the New York Knicks need, it is Paul George. It's a 6'9" wing who could put it on the deck, score from anywhere, defend 3 or 4 positions, and run your offense when Jalen Brunson sits down. You want to move on in this league, you got to have top defenders to beat the Boston Celtics. And if you have a wing duo of OG and Paul George with DiVincenzo and Hart coming off the bench being game wreckers, yeah, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. I mean, how likely overall is it that they trade for Paul George? I would say probably not all that likely. But if they do make a trade for a star, I think he's one of the more likely stars. Look, if this is your team, you can win a championship. You can win a championship if this is your team. And you could still go out and sign a veteran. Because I'll tell you this much. If this is your top 8, teams are going to want to come play for this team on the veteran minimum. Maybe a guy like Eric Gordon. Maybe a guy like Kyle Lowry. Maybe a guy like Chris Paul. And you also have Jericho Sims on this team as a backup big. You go sign a veteran big man as well if you want. Like, if this is your top 8, you're going to be in a really, really good spot for at least 2 to 3 years. What is one move you want the Knicks to make this summer? If only one move could be made, what would you want it to be? Sound off in the comments section for me. And if you haven't yet, please, please, please Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on IG. I'm trying to grow my social media as well. So help a friend, help a friend. Let's go Knicks.